bring up Pop Lazerus. You wanna play him in?
You got something to play him in with? Yeah.
No, I didn't. I don't actually have anything. I could do. Sorry, that's all I got. No, I had nothing ready to play him in.
Hey,
Speaking of
what's up,
Nick,
guys?
how's it going?
It's going pretty good. I actually was drinking a little bit of wine, and I actually just finished, so it's kind of perfect timing here.
Oh, you get the buzz on, the jitters down.
Yep.
Yeah, full disclosure, I was drinking beer tonight. I was not drinking wine. I was not prepared for my wine show. Thought I was doing my Monday night beer show. No, just kidding. Welcome. Thanks for coming out and taking the time to come up and chat with us and hang out in our space. As you can tell, we're pretty casual about it. So, but we're very interested in what you've got going on, and we'd like to hear a lot more. So, if you want to, lay down your stories, talk about how you got into art, and then progress into how you got into this project and what your ideas are for it.
All right. Well, I've pretty much been in like art my whole life. Started out, I won a coloring contest when I was 2, and kind of continued on from there. Um, Always, yeah, I've been into art. I went to University of Delaware for like a year doing art, but wasn't really interested in like doing all the projects and stuff, and I like had too many of my own ideas, so I ended up just kind of dropping out. Um, and then I moved to Denver and lived there for about 8 years, and that's when I first started painting and really started, trying to take art seriously as like as what my career, I guess, is or whatever. And
So are
yeah,
you out in Colorado now still?
actually in Pennsylvania right now. I've been on an RV trip for the last 7 months, and yeah, hanging out in Pennsylvania because a lot of my family's from here. But yeah, I've been living in an RV with my wife and 4-year-old son for the last 7 months, and just
I
been
love
kind of
it.
traveling the country, selling
Talk
art
about
prints on
talking
the
to
street.
artists. I always wanted to live that artist lifestyle. I love it. Sorry. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and it's been pretty cool. And yeah, I actually met Threesomes last summer in kind of like a random way, and he kind of told me everything about NFTs and kind of like what he was doing, and yeah, because I had heard about NFTs before then, but I hadn't really seriously thought about trying to get into that scene because it seemed like there would be a lot of stuff that I would have to learn because I'm not like super like computer savvy and stuff. But after hearing his story from him, I was like, okay, I think this is something that I can do. Um, and so when I first started, um, the first thing I did was just like putting up some of my paintings and old art and just making those as like editions of I think like 10 or so. And yeah, I was just kind of getting my feet wet, just kind of experimenting, seeing what was what. And then I decided to go and do the Mars Volta cards. And that was like the first series that I did that was like art that I had specifically made to be NFTs. And the reason I did that is because I was like super into the Mars Volta. And here I can let me pin like a little promo video I made for that one. Let's
I
see.
thought that was pretty cool. That the Mars Volta. It's not very often. I'm not. I can't rattle off a whole ton of their songs or anything, but they're an interesting band, and you just don't. I mean, I always used to be a DJ and stuff, and I'm not. I just don't hear people say that very often. The Mars Volta, but I guess it's a very. I mean, you either like them or you hate them. I guess is what it would be. They're interesting.
Yeah, yeah, I got pretty obsessed with them when I was in like high school. I was really into At the Drive-In when they had come out, and that was like the band that had the same guitarist and singer. And that was like in the late '90s, and then that band broke up, and then they started the Mars Volta a couple years after that. And yeah, like when I was in high school, I was like spending time in my basement all the time, just like reading over the lyrics, trying to understand like what they were talking about. And I think that was part of what like really drew me into them, was they had like really kind of esoteric um, lyrics that were like very visual, kind of similar to how like David Bowie's music and his lyrics are like kind of like not really a linear story, but more like a series of like visual um, images. And so yeah, I made all those cards, and just with like living in the RV and like being on the move a lot, I kind of got busy with other things and with life. And um, after I had made them, I hadn't really like made a big effort to kind of get them out there
So
until
before you get into like what got you into NFTs, really, what's your medium? Like you do physicals, right? And then capture that. Is that, am I on the right path here? I don't know shit
yeah,
about art.
like some of my NFTs are just like pictures of my paintings that I or like that I photographed, and then a lot of the more recent stuff that I've done, I'll draw in ink, and then I'll take it over into Illustrator. I'll turn it into like a vector, and then I'll color it in there. And then like for my newest project, I take those vectors and bring them over into Premiere, and then like create like animated um, things. So let me pull up
Okay, cool.
my Jerry here, which is kind of what the new project is going to be. Let's see.
Yeah, super excited about that.
The Monster Boat Gang, was that what it was?
Yeah. So it was kind of like a play off of like the Bored Ape Yacht Club. I was like, so instead of being bored apes, they're monsters, and instead of a yacht, it's a boat. I thought it was just kind of like a funny thing to call them.
Kind
Nice.
of a parody.
I like it.
Yeah, and yeah, I went with Seinfeld because I've like seen pretty much all the episodes like 5 or 6 times. Whenever I don't know what to watch on TV, I go back to Seinfeld. It's kind of like my go-to, and I've always yeah, I just love that the comedy that they have in there.
Yeah, it was a good series for sure. 100%.
Yeah, so like the pretty much the idea behind like the Monster Boat Gang is that I'm going to be taking yeah, like pop icons that I like, and then turning them into kind of like monsters, or and like they with the gang aspect of it, like throwing like some face tattoos on them, and then yeah, just having like something ridiculous happen in like kind of a an animation. And then also like I've been selling my art prints on the street a lot, and when I do that, a lot of times people will um, offer me like interesting trades and stuff like that. And so before I did Jerry the Alien, I had someone like trade me a like a dose of acid for a print, and so I took that, and it kind of like inspired some of the visuals in that one, and kind of like the way that the lighting and the coloring changes. I kind of wanted to capture the feeling of like being on a trip a little bit, and
I
that's also
love.
something. Or go ahead.
No, I sorry, I just said I love that. Awesome.
Yeah, and like yeah, I did a contest for Paper Buddha when he was doing his thing. I think it was like back in January, and I've been really inspired by like his art too, and kind of like pretty much like any kind of art that has like a psychedelic feel to it. I've always liked that. And when I
Yeah,
was in
that's
Denver,
what I
I was
really
in
liked about Paper Buddha
like,
stuff too.
mm-hmm.
And I like that psychedelic feel.
Yeah, yeah, it's like super cool. When I was in Denver, I play guitar also, and I was in like a psych pop band there. So Also, yeah, just like infusing like music with, or just like infusing anything with like psychedelic vibes is something I like to do in general.
There's nothing wrong with that. Little color and vibration in your life.
Yeah.
Some cool. So like, and so yeah, I mean, and now you've got this going on where, so for that first Jerry piece, I guess you have the thing going on where you're everybody's got to collect a Bowie and match it with a Mars Volta in even pairs.
Yeah, so pretty much that's kind of like the utility that I've put into the Bowies and the Mars Volta pieces that I have that are like up on my Taya and object and whatever. Um, is if you collect um, yeah, like at least one Bowie and one CFD, for each pair that you have, you'll get one raffle ticket for when I finally for when I release Jerry the Alien. And so pretty much like what the timeline is I'm going to keep trying to sell the TMV and Bowie pieces until the 19th. And that's when I'm going to burn down all the excess. And at that point, for every Bowie piece that anybody has, they're going to get airdropped a brain token. And for every TMV piece they have, they'll get airdropped a bird token. And then for each pair of brain and bird that you have, you'll get a chance in a raffle to win Jerry the Alien. And I think what I'm going to do is for the amount of pairs out there, make it so that a third of them will end up winning a Jerry the Alien.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
And somebody in here is going to get a piece tonight.
That's
me.
right.
Well, not by me. Sorry. From me. By you from me. And we're going to do that in the Wag Me Wine Discord. And you're going to have to guess the 4 letters that I have in purple keys on my keyboard.
Think about it. We'll do that a little later for sure.
Yeah, we'll do that in a little bit.
So I had a question. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I like the question that you picked for the to see who can win it, because I'm like kind of racking my brain right now. I'm like, I wonder what those 4 letters are.
Well, the keys are purple. That's a clue. The keys are purple. And
how can that be
about?
What am I missing there?
It came about in the Wag Me Wine Discord.
So, and you also said it spells. You also said those 4 letters spell a word as well, right?
Yes, it is a 4-letter word.
Interesting. Well, I got my brain thinking I'm not going to play, but I'm gonna write my guess down later on when it's time, just so.
Oh, come on, Bits! I didn't tell you you could play. Although I don't want you to play because
I accidentally have 2 summer Bowies, so I don't. Well, yeah. Never mind. Right, the same way that I enter contests that I don't remember entering is the same way that happens. So there might have been some wine involved. There might have been some, weed involved. I don't know.
I bought the second one on purpose after hearing about the giveaway that Pop is doing on those. Do you want to tell us about the piece that you're going to give away on those?
Oh yeah, okay. So I am doing a contest, and I can put this up to look at it here so I can pin it.
I like that. He's a pin machine. He's not like me. He doesn't fumble around.
Hey, did you see my tweet up there? I learned how to do it today.
No, I did. I saw that. I was very impressed with that.
That's my I was like of my physical. That's my physical Bowie piece that I picked up at a Eureka Burger, like a month after Bowie died. One of our local artists here in town painted that and had a small gallery of posthumous artists like that. And so he had a Hendrix and a Morrison and a Kurt Cobain. Those were all sold. He had a couple other ones. And like Bowie had just died, and I was almost in tears when I saw it. And I was like, I don't care what this thing costs. It says for sale. I'm buying it.
Yeah, that's a really cool piece.
It's a neat piece. Oh, there's the pin there.
You know what's funny? I got a story about bits. So when WAGMI Ones just started, we did a wine label like promotional giveaway, and Bits like literally answered that. he answered the question before I finished because he was just like so on top of it, and so he wins. Well, I guess this one person messaged me and basically said, "I'm out. I don't fit in here. This is a good old boys um, uh, collection." And I'm just like, "What are you talking about?" But they were just so mad that Bits like answered the question before like I finished. Like they were so offended. And I think Bits, you won like the last one too, so they were just so mad. They were so mad, and it just was so funny, like how just childish it was. Like, okay, like he's on top of it, like he's he won fair and square, like but it was just
Kelsey
so
won one also.
Yeah, I actually won 2. I won one in the Discord, and then the Twitter one where we had to get to like the 100th tweet. Oh, I was on that.
And I remember losing by both of them by like milliseconds, and I was like, "Oh, these people." And I thought I was out at that point, but nah, it just brought me in closer.
Here we are hosting a space now.
Right?
No, but that's where I played that soundbite.
Bits is honestly a fucking magnet for giveaways. I don't understand it, but congratulations, my friend.
I'm going to cherish that quote. I love it. Sorry. Anyways.
Yeah, I remember getting like a message from that. It was a lady, and she was just really upset that like Bits won, and she literally took it hard. I'm like, listen, there's gonna be so many more giveaways. Just come and be part of it, and you're gonna win. Like anyone that has been like loyal to WAGMI has won multiple things. So, and it doesn't matter if like, so some has won more than others, but you're going to get something. So
yeah, as a disclaimer, Bits, Kelsey, and I have absolutely nothing to do with the project other than we're loyal followers.
We are.
Yeah.
That's true.
Here for a good time.
Doing this on our own accord.
It's quite objective, right? Like you guys are active and you get rewarded. I mean, it's like there's no alpha. You just go in the Discord and talk every day, and you win nice things. Like it's literally, it's funny, but it's true.
No, that was a good little story. I love that. She actually messaged me and flat out called me a cheat. So, but anyways, back to Pop Lazerus. Now that we just did that was awesome. I appreciated that story, Greg. Thanks. So yes, your giveaway.
Oh yeah, and I just want to say too, like some people are just lucky, and like it's not your fault that you're lucky and you happen to win a lot.
That's true. Dude, I never in my life have I been a person to win crap, but ever since I started participating in this space, I mean, it just goes to show that if you're in there and doing and you're around and you're being active in a lot of different ways in a lot of different spaces, you get things. Like it happens, right? Put the effort in. I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. So what? Basically, yeah, the summer Bowie just sold out, but whoever guesses the 4 letters is going to get one. And then I think tomorrow morning is when I'll do the raffle. And so I'll put everybody's name that owns a Bowie on the wheel of names. And whoever wins is going to win the Adam and Eve piece. And that's the piece to the right of the summer Bowie on the last tweet that I put up. And that's a piece where I have, I think it's an edition of 6. And I have just given them away at certain points. And so far I've given away 3 and 3 left. And so after tomorrow, there's only going to be 2 left. And I don't know when I'll give them away, but they're basically very rare pieces that you won't be able to buy unless somebody's like selling them on secondary.
Yeah, I loved them. That's why I picked up the second summer Bowie. And then I had thought of the giveaway this morning before knowing what I was going to give away. because I hadn't talked to you yet and didn't know if you were going to be able to come on or anything. And so I was like, I got a couple pieces. I got some voxel junk stuff that I'd love to throw out there, and some other things by some other Tez artist. And I talked to you, and I was like, all right, you're coming on. I'm gonna buy that last Bowie piece, and that's gonna be the giveaway. We're gonna give somebody a chance at that Adam and Eve.
Yeah, and then whoever wins that Summer Bowie, if they get a TMV2, they could potentially win a Jerry down the line too. So,
right,
with
nice little bonus.
Yeah, and with those Bowie pieces and with the TMV pieces, like as I continue on with the Monster Boat Gang, I'm gonna make sure that those pieces continue to have utility, and that the people that got those early will continue to be rewarded as time goes on. And with the Jerry, if you have the pairs of the bird and the brain tokens, you won't have to burn them to get into the raffle. You just have to have them in your wallet and not have them for sale. But like further down the line, like if I end up selling a lot more TMV, because there are a lot more Mars Volta available, there's going to be a lot more bird tokens. So when it comes to like the second Monster Boat Gang that are released, which I think is going to be the Kramer, I might have people like need to burn their bird token in order to like enter a raffle for that one. And so like as I release pieces, the things you have to do with the tokens might change, and at some point you might end up having to burn them. But for this first thing, you won't have to burn them. You'll be able to keep them and use them again.
I love it.
Burn.
Do you have a Discord, or?
I don't have a Discord yet, but I'm working on making one, and I'm gonna make it active and start inviting people to it once I drop the bird and brain tokens, so that if people happen to only have one or have an uneven amount, they'll have like an opportunity to a place where they can talk to each other and share or trade as they need to.
Okay. I'm just thinking, we all love a good wheel, and we all get a little antsy. So if it's all right with Poke, if you want to do that giveaway tomorrow in the Wag Me Wine Discord.
Oh, I would definitely be down for that.
If that's all right with Poke.
Yeah, we can also do it. Every raffle we give away a guest artist NFT, so we could also do this next Wednesday too. So that's just a thought. But I'm fine either way. Whatever you guys want to do.
I'm pretty open. I could do it in the Discord. If not, I'll probably just record myself doing it and then post the video of it or whatever. So, but I'm open either way. We can maybe like talk about it on DM each other or something and get something figured out. And then, I'll just announce how I'll do it in the morning, if that works.
Sounds like a plan in motion. I had a question for you. I was wondering, with the music thing, you're obviously you're a fan of music, right? And that's why you like. Is that are you obviously of David Bowie and the Mars Volta? Like, that's just something you really like. Is that why you kind of went with them? With those pieces?
Because I've always been a musician. Also, I was classically trained on French horn, and in 11th grade, I was like 7th best in the state of Pennsylvania on horn. I majored in horn for the first year that I was in college, but my heart wasn't really in it, and so that's kind of when I switched over to guitar. And I still play guitar sporadically, but it kind of haven't had as much time to play since I had a kid, which I'm sure a lot of you understand. But yeah, I've always loved music, and I think the majority of the paintings that I've done have always been kind of like music related.
Mixing two things together, I like that. That's really cool. Yeah, the Mars Volta, I think I saw them. I never heard of them, but I believe it was in about 2003. I was going to a Tool concert, and that's who the opening band was. And I was like, who the fuck is the Mars Volta? And I just remember we kind of were getting into the stadium late. And as I got in, I was just listening to the music that was playing. And I'm like, what? I had to, like, I didn't even bother buying my t shirt. It's like I had to get in there and I had to watch what was going on the stage, right? Because I mean, like, some of their songs are pretty epic. Like, they've got a lot of like 8-minute songs that just like kind of groove on, right? Like, and it's really crazy stuff. I liked it. Like I say, I don't know a lot of stuff off the top of my head, but I remember there was like 5 songs that I had burned on a disc that I listened to for like ever and ever and ever. They're really cool band.
Yeah, and they were always like a super good live band. I saw them, I think it was in like 2007, and had taken certain things beforehand, and yeah, they like took me to a higher level. I was like, yeah, just like very spasmodically dancing, and got to a point where I felt like I was like above my own head, kind of like watching everything. And yeah, when I was in high school, I was like religiously like downloading all of their all the bootlegs of them as they were on tour, and like listening to every show that they did, and kind of like the Grateful Dead, I guess, but on the computer in a more nerdy way.
No, I like the way I enjoyed the way that like when you say the Grateful Dead, but that was the one thing I was going to point out is like when they would just jam out, like they would just go on and on and on. And I could imagine if you've taken a little something, how that well, I guess we're a safe space. We can say it. If you're on a hallucinogen or what have you, I mean, that would just be the next level for sure.
I don't think you know what the definition of a safe space is. So I'm gonna jump over to the Discord. You guys keep chatting, and here's how it's gonna go. Here's the curveball. I'm gonna say on your marks, get set, go, and then after I say the word go, it'll be a single line. Any answers after that are eligible. Any answers before the word go are ineligible.
So we're gonna give people time to get in the Discord if they want.
So yeah, so you guys keep chatting. I'm gonna pop into the Discord, give them time to get in there. Another minute or two.
It's like you're going to another room, hey?
Yeah, I'll still be on, but I'm on my phone, so I can only look at one thing at a time.
Sure, that's cool. So will all of the Monster Boat Gang pieces, will they all be animated like the Jerry one?
This is going to be in the wine room in the Wagme Wine Discord.
We do have it pinned in our bio too, at the top.
To answer your question, yeah, I'm gonna be animating all of them, and for me, doing these animations is kind of like bringing, the music aspect of my creativity back, and connecting it more directly with the art, because like even though some of them don't necessarily have or aren't gonna have like music in like the traditional sense, just like thinking of the rhythm of the animation and the way that like the sound effects are coming in and out and stuff like that, it has my mind moving in like a very the way that it does when I'm like thinking of music and writing music and stuff like that.
That's very cool. That's awesome. I appreciate that. I love sound and music, and I'm a very visual person as well. Like I'm into production. Like when I go to live shows, I want to see amazing production. Like I want to see lights, I want to see graphics and things like that. And I think that's kind of what you're talking about here, right? Like you're bringing that vision to your pieces of art with the music.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of like what I'm doing. And then too, well, especially with doing the Seinfeld pieces, I'm enjoying being able to bring like a humorous kind of element to it, or like having something funny happen, and yeah, just like being able to bring all these different parts of me together into like one medium, because I don't think I've really been able to do that before this point. Like I've always had those things be kind of separate.
Cool. Yeah, that's really awesome to be able to bring stuff like that together. And how are you finding you're loving the Tezos chain. I mean, obviously you're on the Tezos because it's accessible to people, right? It's cheap. There's no gas fees and stuff like that. You're finding it an easy process to use.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm obviously like one of the main things that I do really love about it is the no gas fees, and it's better for the environment. Um, for those reasons, I've pretty much never like messed with any of the Ethereum stuff, and I don't really have any plans to. And um, like you guys were talking about earlier in the in this space, like Tezos has a lot of like super cool artists on it, and I'm really inspired by all the stuff that's going on Tez, and I think it really is only going to get better as like more artists learn about being able to use Tezos, and I'm really enjoying being able to keep things like really affordable, so that if somebody in Indonesia or India or Brazil is interested in my pieces, they don't they can afford to hop on board.
I can appreciate that fully. That's actually the first time I've heard somebody say it that way too, about making, I mean, obviously being affordable to people, but pointing out in other countries, right, where it's just not, they don't have the money that we have to throw around and all that sort of stuff. I mean, that's, yeah, I don't know why I've never thought of that before. That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, and like one of the other things that I've been doing on this RV trip is like selling my art prints on the street, and I've pretty much been selling them for anywhere between like 10 and 20 bucks. And it's the same thing. It's like, I want people that are excited about my art to be able to buy it without having to think twice about it. And, if I can get my art into like the hands of 300 people and make the same amount as I would if I would gave it to like one like rich dude, then I would much rather sell it to a lot of people, and spread the love and allow everyone to have a piece of it.
Well,
That's cool.
I beg to guess that at least half this space would love a physical piece. Most of the WAGMI wine
that's true.
has lots of empty walls.
Well, I'm gonna be up in NYC, or I'm trying to find an Airbnb right now. But if I find one, I'm gonna be up for NYC NFT, and I'm gonna be selling some of my prints on the street. So you guys might, if you guys are up there, might see me there.
I'll have to send Chris Truman or Alp Doty by for me.
That's right. We'll have to, right? They can buy it all up.
Yeah, that'd be super cool. I'll be stopping by the grotto after 2 a.m. on at least one of the nights too. So
nice.
I'll be around.
Were you at the grotto LA?
No, this will be the first time that I'm going to like an NFT event.
Oh, okay.
I was just thinking about your bio, because in your bio it says you literally live in a van by the river. So I guess that's the RV, hey?
Yeah, I figured that's kind of a funny way to put it. So
I saw that and didn't even put it together.
This is the reality. This is how it is. And I'm just curious, is it like a really sexy RV, like, $250,000, or is it like a 1983 GMC Vandura?
It's like a 1985 Ford E350, but it is very sexy, I have to say.
I was gonna say that's the sexy one, right, Bits?
That's right. If ever there was a sexy RV.
Nobody wants to live in a mobile McMansion. That's boring. You just buy a fucking apartment if you're gonna do that.
I agree. Well, you can't drive those big ones anywhere anyways, right?
Yeah, they don't fit in most of the national parks.
Yeah. I went to like an RV show when I was down in Quartzsite this winter, and because I have a travel trailer that I'm going to be redesigning the inside of. It's like totally gutted, and I was trying to get inspired, so I figured I'll go to this like RV show and see like some new designs and stuff like that. But like every single one of the new expensive ones, like you go in there and you feel like you're in the suburbs. Like it feels like like total McMansion. Like, I don't know, not what I'm going for.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't really, it kind of kind of defeats the purpose of doing what you're doing if you have every single luxury that you would in a mansion, right? Never mind, it costs you that much more to drive the thing.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like I would much rather be in a space that feels, unique and not doesn't feel like a cookie cutter, you know, HGTV kind of thing.
I've always wanted like a Class B, like a Sprinter van, like a four-wheel drive though, like a Ford Sportsman or whatever. Always wanted one of those.
You don't see many of those.
This is RV Talk on Twitter Spaces Tuesday.
That's right. If you gotta pee, go outside. Don't use the toilet in there. No, that's just where we put our stuff in there. That's actually a bathroom, right?
That's right.
Yeah, that's just another
closet. Go outside.
Well, it's kind of neat. I've done a couple trailers, and it's kind of cool because when you do actually tear everything out, I mean, the sky's almost the limit, right? Like it's just a big open space that you can do whatever you want with.
Yeah, it's pretty cool because you don't really even have to like turn it back into a travel trailer. Like if you don't want to have a bathroom in there, you don't have to. If you want to have it just as like an office, or you want to turn it into like a place where you can go and like listen to records, or yeah, you're totally free.
I have one at my cabin. It's a guest house. Perfect.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm building my office to be. Multi-purpose, everything that is for me. Only not mobile.
Not mobile. Not in your home.
It will be outside my home.
Well, if anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask us or Pop Lazerus? Got some in cool story about Bits winning something, maybe?
We can answer mechanics questions or Wagme Wine, Grotto.
No electrical questions.
We don't do electrical or finance.
No electrical, no finance. I harvested my marijuana yesterday.
Nice. Oh, and if you have any plumbing questions, I might be able to answer them.
Well, some RV talk.
There you go. But is that actual plumbing advice? That's the difference. I can answer electrical questions, but it's not electrical advice.
It's all in the fun. I really find it really funny because I do listen to a lot of American radio, like I stream it right now. There's usually I listen to like K-Rock in New York or whatever it is. I think it is. And just how the disclaimers all have to be there in the United States is like mind blowing. Like you're paying for advertising space on a radio station and like 15 seconds, 20 seconds of your ad has to be disclaimers. Like the car sales ads are like just that's all they are, is they're just a big long disclaimer. And I'm like, you don't hear any of that. Like it's like, that's so bizarre to me and foreign.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's just because like there's a huge population of lawyers in the US who will jump on anybody that doesn't put the disclaimer on.
Yes. Well, the one guy said, I remember you saying, he's like, if you're walking down the street and you just fall and roll your ankle, break your ankle, he's like, you sue everybody within a 5-mile radius and you're bound to win from someone.
It's our greatest export, the lawyer. Or our biggest export.
Awesome. Well, this was a good space. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed hearing about Pop Lazarus's. Now, do you say Lazarus or is it Lazarus? How do you say it?
I say Lazarus.
Lazarus. Yeah, that seems about right to me.
So where does the Lazarus come from, Bits? Is it just something weird one of your Canadian friends said, or is it actually like a thing?
No, it's just like a thing, right? Because I mean, you different pronunciations. Like if you're in Europe, you're going to have an accent. You're going to say things a little bit differently, right? Canadians definitely do from Americans, right? Like the drawl, as soon as it's funny, not a lot of the people that I talk to in spaces, but if I go to Montana, when I go down across the border to Montana, like the drawl that they have is it's just like you cross that border and it's instantaneous. Or even things like, enunciating the G's in words like singer, right? Like us Canadians just kind of roll it, but I do find Americans really accentuate the G when they say singer, and I don't know. It's interesting to me.
That's a country thing or something.
Maybe I'm just high. I don't know.
Nah, G should be silent like lasagna.
There you go.
I gotta agree with you on that one. I keep my G's pretty silent. Although I will say, being on this RV trip, if I stay in an area for more than like 2 weeks, I start to pick up the accent. I think subconsciously, I always want to like try to sound like I'm local.
Well, I do that when I go to Vegas, and sometimes I'll get a little bit of a drawl, or whoever I'm speaking with, I start to pick it up a little bit, and like I've even had people say, "Well, you don't sound like you're from Canada." That's because I'm impersonating you and I'm drunk.
Here's your weird fact of the space. I think that actually comes from our need to fit in from a survival standpoint.
So it's like the fight or flight kind of thing.
Gotta so if you can't do either of those, you try to fit in so that you look non-threatening.
Instead of fight or flight, you could say it's a drawl or brawl.
I like that.
With the drawl, it could be both, though, too. You could still be brawling.
Yeah.
Kelsey doesn't have a southern drawl. Well, she does. She's polite.
She's got that Minnesota.
I was going to say, how do I have a southern drawl? Yeah, I grew up in Minnesota, but lived in Atlanta for 2 years, so I like to say y'all, I guess.
Y'all. I like that how you said Atlanta, too. It was the same thing. There was a little inflection there. I like listening to people talk.
I went through a transition like 5 years ago where I'm from Detroit, like outside Detroit. I used to say, you guys.
No wonder.
You guys. And then I moved to Florida when I was 17. And then I've adopted y'all. I like y'all. It's just easy.
I honestly do.
Your accent is way more Detroit than Florida, and it always kind of like threw me off. I'm like, he's not from Florida. He can't be from Florida.
So there's different.
But it makes sense now.
Florida. So Northwest Florida is redneck. It's South Alabama, South Mississippi. It's the redneck Riviera, right? And then you get to Central Florida, and it's more of like a hodgepodge of like every single culture. And then South Florida, it's a little bit of the same, but it's totally different. It's like retired New Yorkers. It's you don't actually get like a southern drawl in South Florida at all.
Right. You get a lot more Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a little bit of all over. Like K Marine Corin, he's from South Florida. He's Fort Lauderdale, and him and I, he's like the typical South Florida person. Accent wise. If you go to Northwest Florida, it's like you're in a whole different, part of the country. So.
Y'all. Heather Parody was the reason that I started using y'all all the time. I like the way it sounds, and she says it so much that it's like, you know what? I really like using that. I use it all the time.
It's easy.
Yeah, it is. It's totally easy. It makes sense.
I just use it because it's less offensive. You say, "Hey guys," and people go, "Wow, I'm a girl," and I'm like, "Okay, I didn't mean. Do I have to say guys and girls every time? I didn't mean it like that. I just meant, hey people." So if you just say y'all, people don't get as offended.
Like I called out Poke on the Discord one time. I hope you all know that I was like poking fun at that on my end.
Yeah.
Well, it's the older I get, so I'm socially liberal. Like I'm just like, do what you want, be who you want, but I have to catch myself constantly because the NFT space is like a younger generation. Like I'm 37, and like the majority of the NFT space is like mid to early 20s, or at least the louder ones. And it's like a whole different world. Like you did a lot of things that I would say. Like I gotta like be careful of what I say, because like the generation coming up, it's a whole different thing, and I feel like I feel weird because like I remember I would give like baby boomers and my older friends crap 15 years ago when they would say things like when my dad would call people fat, and I'm like, Dad, you don't call people fat, there's different ways to go about it. And now like I'm here saying things similar to that, like not as vulgar, and then people are like, oh, you're not supposed to say it that way. I'm like, well, Jesus, like how am I supposed to say it? Like I'm all having to like relearn how to talk appropriately.
Yep, we all do.
And then mainly it's like the NFT space is like a lot younger, and it's like more like socially progressive. So you just got to be careful, and I'm respectful. Like if that's the way, like I'm not gonna argue about it and complain. Like I'm just gonna conform because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, But at the same time, like I don't know. Like I'm a dad with 2 kids, and I don't get out much. So you got to like understand where I'm coming from. I'm not around like 20 something years old and go, involved in the social, the new social requirements. It's funny.
Yeah, don't you know
totally feel that too. Like, especially on Twitter and stuff. Just I'm constantly like checking myself. Like, okay, did I say that right? Am I gonna make somebody mad? Like, and I'm only like 35, which I guess is pretty old, but yeah, I don't know.
We're
It's
dinosaurs.
definitely
You're
a wild world.
late 30s, early 40s. You're dinosaur.
See, I'm 45. I'm getting to the point where I can say I don't give a fuck anymore, and I can just say whatever I want pretty soon. As soon as I get a little more gray hair.
In the NFT space, you're like a great grandfather, so you can do everything. I'm grandpa. You're great grandpa, because every 5 to 10 years is a different generation, basically.
The one thing that really messed me up that I heard the one time was that cap. Dudes were talking. He's like, cap. But he's like, no cap. You guys heard this? Cap means lying. Are you like, instead of saying you're lying?
It's
like
that one I don't get.
Yeah, dude. I was like, I was just like, what in the hell are you talking about? Like, I know I really sound like an old guy now, but what in the hell are you talking about?
I'm also pretty glad that we're kind of getting over saying rugged for everything. All that got rugged. This got rugged. My tire got rugged. My catalytic converter got rugged. No, we have words more than rugged.
No, so
Stolen.
My son rugged, and now everything is rugged. It's hysterical. If the car's not starting, car got rugged.
Yeah.
And another thing, like all of a sudden he starts saying sus, and I'm like, what is that? Sus. And I'm thinking, like, wait a minute.
Totally sus.
These Discord users,
I think folks sus.
Yeah, it's sus, and it's so funny. He listens to like the YouTube guys because he plays Minecraft and Roblox, and he just watches those videos constantly of the guys like that won't shut up on playing Minecraft, and they say that stuff like sus and all that. It's just hilarious. He's 7 years old, and he's like repeating all this stuff, and I'm kind of like putting 2 to 2 together. I'm like, oh yeah, this kid in the Discord, he was saying sus, so now I know.
Okay, it's a 2-for-1 for you today. I believe the slang sus actually comes from the game Among Us, where you have to call someone out as being suspect on the game.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
I played that game with my girlfriend's daughters played it, and that's where we got that. So we actually use sus in my household. I don't play the game anymore, but we use sus. I was gonna say sus, like that's so like a year ago, people still using that.
No.
This is see, we've gone from talking Wag Me Wine game, talking to Pop Lazerus, and then we talked RV talk. Then we were going to get into a little bit of plumbing there. Now we're doing language courses. Like this is everything you could possibly want, all in one Twitter space.
Yeah. Next thing you know, we're going to be talking about like, when did we all get our last like cardiovascular checkup?
You supposed to do that?
Who got their last, colonoscopy, then people start coming into these Twitter spaces and be like, all right, now we know why the NFT space has, gone to shit, because the older 30s and early 40-year-olds have took over. They're the only one left with liquidity. And
the only one left with enough brains to know what's going on and to know not to just chase the next trend and the next hype.
Yeah, that's right. No, honestly, a lot of the people that I still keep in touch with that are remotely in NFTs are like, people who, I guess I wouldn't say they're more liquid, but they did. Well, I guess that is they're just more liquid, and they're more calm and patient. But like a lot of my younger friends, they're done. Like they got in and got out, and they're just like they're done. It's the ones that are left are like my old friends who like could blow the money and not like worry about it. So